going to call the meeting of the Commission on Sustainability to order. How about that? Let's look at our roll call. We've got Fonda, Jeff Matusek, Ty Miller, Zach King, Tucker King, and Devin. Trying to get the there we go.
Have we heard from Lucas?
I haven't heard back from him. Did he had kind of indicated, I think, that one of our members, Lucas Cromer, that Mondays weren't good, but now Tuesdays aren't either, or?
Not that Tuesdays weren't good, but that he wanted to join remotely. I don't know why. Tucker, I think you're the last one to talk with him.
Yeah, so from my understanding, just due to other family commitments and stuff, he's no longer able to attend like normally during this time. So I don't think we figured out how to properly start the video portion of it yet.
Okay.
I'll circle back with Roscoe after this to figure that out. And then Lauren also indicated to me that she wouldn't be able to make it today as well.
Okay. We'll work on the minutes for next meeting because we don't have a printed copy here. So is anybody here from the public? No public, so we don't have public comment. Tucker, would you like to jump in? And he's got some agenda. We got to get to that pretty quickly since the members have to leave.
Yeah, so old business to go through quickly. Tree donations from the Rotary Club and at large. Currently, we only have the Rotary Club's donation. We are in the process of planning. So since Phil's been out doing our re-inventory as a part of the U.S. Forest Service grant, he's just now starting to get an idea of what he's doing for the planting. We're hoping to plant this fall, though, so we'll have a planting plan together soon for us to approve for that. On to number 2, U.S. Forest Service grant at large. We had a really fun meeting Friday with the grant team from the core network. Michael Summers and Carol Plato were able to fly out from DC and, get to do a site visit of the city of LaPorte. I think I almost convinced them to move here. I don't know. But it was a really good day. They got to see some of our project areas through a walking tour, and then we did a driving tour to show them the greater city as a whole. We met with the tree crew out in the field and got to go over their process, and then we got to go over kind of the future of sustainability. Well, at least that was the idea. But the talk mainly focused on phase 2 of the grant, which is going to be that youth conservation core portion of it. And to that end, we also had the agriculture department from the high school come out and discuss maybe the beginning of that partnership. And I thought it was a very fruitful meeting. I'm looking to set up a meeting with you guys and the agriculture department, and then other representatives of the high school who kind of manage that portion. And another portion that came out, or another idea that came out through that was the Court Network actually helps fund through the AmeriCorps program another conservation-minded group here in the Northwest Indiana region. They're focused mainly in Lake and Porter County. I do believe it's SCA is the name of it, but they do a lot of workforce development for high school age and at-risk youth, and it their mission statement kind of aligns with what we want to do with this youth conservation core portion of it. And I know that working through a 501c3 would open us up to a few different grant opportunities potentially. So we're gonna pursue that potentially as well. And then the student liaison to the Sustainability Commission was another thing we discussed at the last meeting. So that was also discussed, and I think that's going to be a pretty easy sell on their end as well. It'll probably be someone from within their earth science / agriculture department that gets elected through some process, probably by teachers, I would think. Onto the CPRG / solar grant. We're still waiting to hear. IDEM sent out a newsletter last month that I didn't talk about at the last meeting, but essentially they're looking at a July / August timeline for announcements as far as their funding goes, and then from there they're looking October to the end of the year for us to come to a final agreement. So that's all there is there. The website, Zach had indicated as something we wanted to talk about previously. I think we had put on our Discord for all of us to review website points that we had kind of come up with like a general idea for. I'm going to let him take over on that.
Please don't. So yeah, I was hoping just to send that message. I know that we've got the Discord server. I sent a copy of things I'd stolen from other websites, honestly, that sounded good. If we're okay with it, I'd like to have Tucker send that to Jess for website updates. So.
Yeah, I didn't see anything out of line. I mean, it looked like it was fine stuff to me. So.
Cool.
Tucker, just to back up a little bit, the solar grant.
Yep.
Now, there's grants for water to get some power that way. How is the exchange with NIPSCO? What's the wastewater was able to negotiate a very favorable deal with NIPSCO for 1-to-1 on the power. Are we limited to what the current laws are, or are we able to add this to the other agreement?
I think Ty might know a little bit more about this than I will.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's enough solar, so there's power for both water plants, as well as backup power for both water plants. There's some solar at the Civic Center and then a couple of other locations. Overall, it'll be more power that's generated than the total city uses, but the city still gets full advantage of 100% of whatever it generates back as a credit. So when it's all said and done, it'll probably be like a net zero on the electric side anyway for the city, when you add it all up compared to what the city actually uses. Now, that's not, fossil fuels for trucks or natural gas, but on the electric side, the city will be producing more than it uses, and some of that production is hopefully going to be used for an electric fleet electrification around the city too. So.
Okay, good. So it goes on. I mean, we get the power, and then we can start electrifying more. I don't know. They've got some grants. I don't know. Do we have some grants for the vehicles too, Tucker?
So we don't have any through this program, but at the previous NERC meeting, we had talked at some length about potential for developing transport electrically. Currently, we're looking at compressed natural gas in the near future. We are the first fully compressed natural gas fleet for public transport in the nation, from my understanding, which is pretty awesome, honestly. But we are talking about electric as another alternative here in the future, especially with this charging facility at our disposal.
Yeah, and just one last thing. The facility is going to be over near the wastewater plant where the new school bus barn is. So there's discussions about could the school take advantage of that too with some electrification of their fleet. Not to be determined, of course, but it's on the table.
Now, at Lake Street, there's not a lot of open ground, so I was just curious to how we envision solar for that location.
Is that plant 2? Or,
No, Lake Street plant over.
Oh, yeah. There is, the plants don't use that much power, so, you need a quarter of an acre probably. So I think there's room over there. It'll be tight, but yeah, there's some shade.
Of course, we could utilize the rooftop too if we had to. Okay.
Yeah.
You've got more, Tucker?
Not at that. I think to circle back to the website.
Okay.
Sorry. Were you looking for a vote on that, Zach? I mean, I think that it seems everyone's in favor of what we're doing.
I don't think we need a vote as long as nobody disapproves. Let's send it up.
Okay. Climate action plan, I don't know if anyone else got the ability to read it over the last month or so. I didn't know if that was an action item that we were supposed to have accomplished by this meeting.
It was, but I didn't do it. I don't expect anybody else did.
Yeah.
Can we make that an action item for the next meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
but let's actually stick to it on this next one.
Well, and also, I guess also to maybe look to see if you have an area of interest in there, and maybe we'll kind of spread out the ideas or the, interest and stuff, so somebody can focus on one thing and somebody else can maybe focus on another, because it's full of things, and I don't know, do you know how much more before it's considered to be a completed plan? I know they're supposed to finish it.
I actually don't know what else they need to complete. I did get to peruse it over the last month, and it seems like it's a pretty solid document. I think it's just up to us to ratify in case we don't like anything in particular. I think that's kind of where we're at, honestly, is community editing at this point.
Okay. Well, it's a pretty deep, there's a lot of subject matter in there, so I guess my idea of maybe take a look at it and see if you have an area of interest, and then maybe we'll kind of assign some roles with respect to that plan and its execution, so.
I do think it would be good to be on the record at some meeting where we are ratifying the plan, if there's some changes or whatever, but that should definitely be a goal of the commission, I believe.
Yeah, so let's see, our next meeting is, I put that on the schedule, so maybe we'll try to,
4th Tuesday of July.
talk about that on the 23rd, so.
Okay, so in hopes to further that, I'll get an email out after this, where, as you guys get to look at the title areas or whatever, you can kind of choose something you're interested in, and then we'll all agree, like, via email, and then by that next meeting on July 23rd, we'll hopefully have read our individual sections or whatever.
Would there be a way to put that on like a Google Docs or something so we can share it and write comments?
Yeah, I think I can figure that out.
Okay.
You've
Yeah, some
got
sort of shared site would be nice.
I think it's on the Discord site, isn't it? Don't you have that attached to it?
Yes, the climate action plan is attached in Discord, and we can create discussion threads or whatever we want in the channels there. A shared document would be possible as well.
Yeah, I don't think it would be hard to get it on Google Docs, and we can just do it like that.
Yeah, I like just a live document rather than just comments, just because it tracks it with the document. So it'd just be nice if we could do it that way.
Okay. Yeah, by the end of this week, I'll get an email out to everybody, and we can start doling out who gets to do what, essentially.
Thank you.
And then with the EV charging stations, I don't have anything further at this time. I was supposed to meet with Nick about it, but we have a lot going on, so I'll be honest, it just fell to the wayside. But I will circle back on that and get us a better idea of what they were looking for as far as your responsibilities are concerned. I know Annette asked me about it, so at this point it must be serious.
Yeah, they think there is a deficiency in the city generally in charging stations. We're not seeing much. Now, of course, they've put a lot of them around by the shopping in Michigan City, but I think it's definitely something we need to see more of, so. Thank you. Shall we go to new business? New business was, and of course, they have water sustainability for future development. I've been recently engaged in inspection on the new wells the water department's drilling, and I'd like to report that they look really good. It looks like a good decision. The aquifer's pretty robust. See very little drop in the water level after 24 hours of pumping, I think like a half an inch or something. Once it gets to you watch it on the long test, once it gets to its pumping level, then you see if it continues to drop and how fast it fills back up, and it's really looking positive in all the metrics that we look at. So, but I think in light of the Microsoft, which has been in this room and the other room, I think that's definitely an area of concern for this group, I think, is the sustainability of this development. And they're still not sure after meeting with them whether they're going to want a little bit of water or a lot of water. They're still working on the technology that they're going to use, I think. So it could be very little from us because they're going to try to recirculate rather than dump, so, which is a real positive.
Did they commit to that, to recirculating?
No, I mean, I don't think the meeting that they just had pinned it down. That was I think the discussion was good, but I don't think they've kind of committed to how they're going to do it yet. But there's a definite thought to a system that doesn't pump and, dump.
Okay.
I will say that we were asked to be discreet about this at this time, so I don't know as much. I don't know what I can and cannot say, I guess, but know that they're still in the preliminary planning stages of everything. So we are still working with them they're very preliminary still. We're talking site development plans still. But
well, if there's anything the Sustainability Commission can do to encourage them to,
yeah,
invest in sustainability, I think we'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, and that is a part of the conversation we did have, was about, you know, what requirements we're gonna put on them sustainability-wise. So, you know, these are things that we should start considering for sure. The water was a big portion that I brought up. We talked about, water sustainability for future development. You know, that future development was before we announced Microsoft officially. I will say that, they're going through I mean, they're interested in sustainability as much as we are, I would say, and so, you know, they run different requirements depending on what state they're operating in. I know in New Mexico, you know, putting treated wastewater back into their groundwater system is extremely important in water poor areas, and it's something I brought up here as well. Just, I mean, with the proximity of the site as close as it is to the ditch and then the Kankakee at large, it would be a shame to pump all that water out of our groundwater and just send it on down the river instead of, you know, trying to recharge our aquifer with it. So that is something we talked about today.
I didn't say too much, did I?
No, you're fine. I was kind of just messing with you, honestly. I mean, everything is very preliminary still.
Thank you. What else? Oh, my phone keeps going. It's got to see me.
Next, we have finding tree funding
Tree
partners.
funding partners. You want to speak on that?
Yeah, so there is another round, actually, so we just found out DNR also received funding as a pass-through grantor through this U.S. Forest Service grant opportunity that we were directly funded through. And after speaking with their representative, we are actually able to apply for their pot of money as well. So I'm going to be putting an application in for that, as well as potentially pursuing the Health Foundation of LaPorte for maybe some community match on that to assist on areas that fall without or outside of the what is considered environmentally disadvantaged according to the Justice 40 initiative. So, or for, you know, parts of like the program that we can't fund with the federal money, like bucket trucks or equipment of above $5,000 essentially. So those are two that I'm looking at, and then as I had stated previously, AmeriCorps is a potential option as far as the phase 2 of the grant goes. And again, with Microsoft moving in, who knows, sustainability is a huge part of their community partnership. Obviously, they have pledged to put $2.5 million into the city and the school corporation over the next 40 years. And sustainability is a big part of what they want to promote. So I think I think developing trees is going to be a big part of that, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Well, I think the tree thing fits all in, but the Microsoft thing is like perfect opportunity for us to have something important too, besides the trees, for us to be involved in. And Ty, you'll be a good part of that too, because of your, kind of right up your alley. So we appreciate your input on that. It'll be helpful. So, how are we doing for time for everybody, Fonda? How are you doing?
Well, I gotta go in just a little bit, but I have
Okay.
a question about tree funding partners. So, and, you know, we're talking a lot about a specific company here, but we have other companies that have community grants, in addition to Health Foundation and, you know, federal government grants. So has there been any consideration for trying to investigate the processes for like Renlet, Howmet, or even the smaller Unity Foundation grants are open right now? They don't do a lot, but $5,000 can buy a significant number of trees.
Yeah, that's 10 trees, yeah. No, I agree. I'll be honest with you, I just haven't had the time to look into everything.
Right.
And to that extent, you know, I think this is a really great opportunity. I think that all of you have connections that I don't have, especially with people. I mean, for example, Lucas with Rennelet.
Right, and they have a specific interest
Yeah.
in trees and Arbor Day. They do Arbor Day programs.
Mhm.
So what is that process? Can we find out? It seems to align with an existing interest.
Yes.
So I think it would be in our best interest to see if we can't pursue some of that. I don't know what it would take, other than maybe just a conversation with him.
Yeah.
To say, you know, it does definitely align with the work. What's their requirement that
Yeah.
they want us to put into place for that, so.
Yes, and I know that, you know, we've talked with other companies previously about other sustainable projects in the past, and I know that certain companies have requirements related to, you know, essentially like
Well, sometimes
redoing some of the damage they do or
the,
whatever, you know?
foundations that are associated, it's not necessarily the company that does it, but it's the foundation. They all have associated foundations. And so what's necessary to happen is you need to get invited to apply, right?
Mhm.
So they all have processes though, and I don't know what they are, but they're usually really receptive to hearing people, and they can put you in contact if you need to be in contact.
One that I always thought was very interesting, the Dr. Scholl's Foundation. I mean, Dr. Scholl is from LaPorte. On their website, it says LaPorte, Indiana, right there. They have a foundation that does non-for-profit granting. I always thought it would be interesting to potentially try and, I don't think they do anything in this area, or they usually do things with larger cities, but, you know, it's a good opportunity to look into and apply through them. Yeah, I don't know, just a thought. I thought maybe a walking trail like the Shoals Stroll or something like that would be a fun little walking trail. So, I don't know, just spitballing, but honestly, I could use support on this. So if any of you can use your networks to try to get a hold of some of these people, even if I still have, you know, modify the grant myself, I don't mind, as long as, I mean, I get a little legwork up front, it'll help me out a lot, because I just don't necessarily have all the time in the world with my other,
Well, the
duties.
thing you've got though that makes a grant application go a long way is data.
Yeah, no, and I would be willing to do all of that, seriously.
Yeah.
It's just
So-
the networking portion of it I don't, or the researching portion of it I don't have as much time for, and I apologize for that. So, seriously, I would love to help out in any way I can, though.
I know the Unity Foundation, I'm writing one now for the Lake Association.
Yes,
It's only a couple pages long. I do it every year. It's not, it's maximum $5,000 that they will give you up to, and governmental agencies, things like that, for the environment, that's something that they do help out with. And it's pretty easy, it's a pretty quick one. It does need some financial information and stuff too, but
yeah, I've had to jump through a lot of hoops already to get the U.S. Forest Service one. I bet you I have a lot of it already set up. It probably would be very easy to,
Right.
you know, just modify it enough to make it fit, so. Yeah, no, and I mean, if you guys could bring a list of places to look at even, or just who to contact, that would be useful to me, so.
You've done a lot of this in your years of seeking grants and money, so between you and Tucker, you're probably our in-house experts here. Anything else for the good of the commission today? We've got tree partners. Has anybody got any announcements? I don't have any announcements to make. Ty? Anything to add to it? I know we have some people that have to go. Is there a motion to adjourn? And hold it, and I guess a reminder to look at this, the plan, and it's voluminous. I mean, there's a lot of things. And a lot of it's gonna be encouragement of others to do things, because the city's power is not as, you know, to do it. So, I encourage everybody to look at the report, and we'll see if we can talk about it at the next meeting. Do I hear a motion?
After Tucker gets it on a shared document.
Yeah. Do I hear a motion to,
But real quick before that,
Go
we
ahead,
did
Jeff.
treat the lakes. We did treat Stone and Pine Lake, if they've been treated. I believe it was 43 acres that we treated, and it was really good with the milfoil, so they're pretty clean. So luckily, things are going good with that, so.
when I kayaked Stone Lake and part of Pine last week, and they see all the, you know, the stuff that comes to the surface, is it that, or is that just the regular lake?
No, it doesn't, the milfoil is what we treat for, but a lot of the other weeds.
Yeah.
So like some of the boats kick them up pull them up from the roots, and then all the propellers chop them up, and that's why I get all the pieces floating around on the lakes.
Okay. Anybody else have anything to add? I'm sorry, I probably should have said that first. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.